All right, welcome back in. The Eagles have had a tough week after A.J. Brown criticized the passing game following Philly's close win over the Panthers. Speculation rose about turmoil in the locker room. Brandon Graham then added fuel to the fire when he claimed Brown and Jalen Hurts aren't as close as they once were. On Wednesday, Brown and Hurts said there's nothing to see here.
Me and Jalen are good, so it's BG, guys. So everybody loves BG. You know, he's speaking from the heart. You know, he's just giving his perception on something from the outside. They perceived what I said about passing and felt like it was an attack on Jalen, and I think that's what he did. You know, me and Jalen relationship is personal.
We're good. We're good. He knows I had a lot of love for him, just like I got a lot of love for all these guys. And ultimately, you know, he's a guy that's a competitor. You know, he wants to win. He damn sure wants the ball, and he wants to make an impact in the game. And I respect that.
We are moving on. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers this week, not the A.J. Brown and Jalen show.
All right. I want to get into the mind of an athlete here. And, Cam, I'm grateful that we have you. So, as a quarterback, how would you have handled it if your wide receiver called out your bad passing game in front of the media?
It happens. But key word here, competitors. Another key word. But understand the intentions of the media. We want to see the McNabb and T.O. saga so bad. But understand A.J. Brown, understand Jalen Hurts. We're 11-2. We're good. Do not give him the ammunition that everybody's trying to weave and distract and throw these hidden grenades. And there's been multiple times in my career that people have mentioned the inaccuracy of Cam Newton. It comes with being an athletic quarterback. But understand, I hear that from the quarterback's perspective and saying, like, bro, it's not easily to hear that. It's not easy to hear those type of things, especially when you're a couple lockers down. But from the receiver's side, having personal conversation with guys, it's like, bro, let me work on y'all's behalf. Mm-hmm. When I see these matchups, and I'm saying to myself, bro, why am I not being targeted in key moments where mentioning it is one thing. I still haven't gotten the ball in the second half or the late in the first quarter. I'm trying to help the team, and everybody wants to help the team, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. I want my receiver to want the ball. I want my receiver to demand the ball. I want my receiver to want the ball in any and every situation, and I want him to understand those type of things. For Jalen Hurts, back to the mic, sir. Ensure, patience, remind, and trust are the words that needs to be spoken when you're talking to A.J. Brown and other players alike. Ensure to A.J. like, bro, you're in there. Give him ask for his pay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I want to hear Snoop's opinion on this, man. Because I see you over there with your facial expression. I see I'm chilling right next to him, y'all. He got something on his mind about this subject. Go ahead, Snoop.
Well, I'm a Steelers fan. I like all of this confusion that they're having in Philadelphia right now. We play them this week, so I'm gonna take Cam's advice and say, hey, man, y'all should listen to what Cam's saying. Don't get caught up in all of that stuff, because if you do, we're going to boo-bop y'all this week. Because y'all play the Steelers, so y'all better get y'all locker room together, because ours is in order. Yeah. Mike Tomlin got things in order. He's over there orchestrating. Got Russell running the love show, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Russell the love muscle running the love show over there, baby. It feel good. Up the field we go, baby. I'm proud about it. My Steelers look good, man. Y'all ain't saying nothing about us.
Let me say this. I think I'm going to give RC the last word on this, so I'll go first. Let me say this. Cam, I get where you're coming from. But respectfully, I don't give a damn about that at this particular moment in time. Next week, I'll care. Playoffs, I'll care. Last 3 weeks of the season, I'll care. But when I'm thinking about this subject right now, I'm thinking about Jalen Hurts. My brother, I don't give a damn how A.J. Brown tried to couch that. He ain't pleased with you. What you gonna do about that? Is he right? Is he wrong? The man had 106 receptions last year. He got 48 this year thus far. Now, even though there's still games to play, there's clearly going to be a drop-off compared to his level of production from last year. Y'all know this better than me. When a wide receiver don't get his touches, when a wide receiver ain't getting his numbers, the last person they're gonna blame is themselves. They're usually looking at the. And so now we got to take a look at the quarterback and ask, is there legitimacy to what is being said or what was being said. I'm looking at a Jalen Hurts, 2 passes of 20-plus air yards in the last 4 games. The last 3 games, he's thrown for under 300 yards. Saquon Barkley is doing his thing, and that has something to do with it, true. But RC, is he reading through his progressions quick enough and properly? Is he as accurate as he needs to be? Is he as formidable as he was a couple of years ago, or has there been some slippage? Because when we talk about Lamar Jackson, we don't talk like that, even when he doesn't have the greatest game.
Yeah.
We don't talk like that. But when you see Jalen Hurts, all of a sudden, you got people bringing up, he was benched in the national championship game when he was at Alabama. He did go to Oklahoma and took them to the college football playoffs. Then he was in the NFL. He took them to a Super Bowl, so he was looking big time because he was a second rounder, and we didn't expect that, but then he exceeded expectations. But then now, y'all, he's coming down to earth. This is what people are saying. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what they're saying. Is there truth to it, RC?
So I'm going to say
question.
this. I did a tape this week on Jalen Hurts, on the easy opportunities he had to get the football to A.J. Brown. And I counted 5 of them. And on those 5 opportunities, A.J. Brown had one-on-one matchups. On those 5 opportunities, A.J. Brown actually won, and Jalen Hurts didn't get him the ball. See, what happens with wide receivers is they don't pay attention to the entire game. They pay attention to the times that they have a favorable matchup and the times that they win, and especially pay attention to the times that you get them the ball in those situations. And Jalen Hurts has missed them. We also have to think about the fact that this team doesn't throw the ball as much as they once did because of Saquon Barkley and the way that Saquon Barkley is performing. And so those opportunities have now shrunk. So imagine knowing going into the game, the opportunities for us to pass are less, and now you're missing me in the chances I have to win. But this also falls on Nick Sirianni for this reason. If I'm Nick Sirianni, I call A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts into my office and I say, I don't care about your personal problems. I don't deserve to know, and the people outside of this locker room don't deserve to know, but you got to fix them if it's going to leak out onto the grass. And if I'm Nick Sirianni, I put a tape on of Jalen Hurts missing A.J. Brown. And I say, hey, man, you got to get him the ball here. Here is how we're going to make sure that he gets his touches. Here is how we're going to treat him like the Cincinnati Bengals treat Jamar Chase, like the Minnesota Vikings treat Justin Jefferson, because he is that to us. And then I put a tape on for A.J. Brown, and I show him when Devontae Smith caught a touchdown, but he thought he should have gotten the ball. When Calcaterra, a rookie, caught his first touchdown ever, and he's absolutely losing his mind. And A.J. Brown, who is getting paid $32 million a year, is walking off the field pouting. Because, see, there's more that goes into that $32 million than how many times you catch the ball. It's how you
got his hand up for you. Snoop got his hand up for you, RC.
What are we concerned with, stats or wins? Like, when we play in team sports, is it about my stats individually or is it about us winning? Because right now they're winning. And it seems like they're crying about personal things when the team is actually winning. So that should be behind closed doors. And if it do happens to leak out, as long as we win, that'll cover everything up. That's my thoughts.
That is a
9
fact.
straight wins.
That is a fact. But can somebody please name a list of wide receivers who weren't prima donnas? It ain't much.
Snoop Dogg. When I played wide receiver,
That's a big lie. That's a big lie.
but I was always open and I always got the ball.
How about Marvin Harrison?
Marvin Harrison, Andre Johnson, Hines Ward. These types.
Calvin Johnson,
Larry Fitzgerald.
Calvin Johnson.
There's not much. Now, listen to me, the biggest prima donnas of them all.
All of them are
With
receivers.
that receiver position, it's inevitable. You cannot just say, oh, man, I don't want this guy on my team, because every receiver is like that. Even the ones that aren't, the $32 million a year type of guy. That comes with it. And Jalen Hurts will never admit to this. He has his issues with, not saying him personally, but every quarterback has their issues with managing egos in the locker room.
Yes.
I have a question to this, though, Cam. There's a difference to me in a relationship we built in the locker room and an existing relationship we had before this. We talked earlier about being partners, right? These two dudes, partners, right? When they acquired A.J. Brown, the first FaceTime call he made was to Jalen Hurts.
For sure.
And so my thing is this. I'm not just your teammate. I'm your dog.
Yeah.
And so when you answer that question, like, I'm always going to think I'm going to protect the house first, and then we could deal with that.
I'm sorry, Stephen A. I'm sorry, Stephen A. And I really apologize. But
No, go ahead.
this happened to me, bro. Kelvin Benjamin. My partner. They drafted him. Cam, hey, take him under your wing. Yo, I was willing to give Kelvin everything. But the emotions, going back to those alphas, going back to those competitors, going back to like, yo, bro, I'm seeing everybody else get off. Come on. It does draw a pitch in y'all relationship when they're not getting the ball.
Right, but when he tried to come talk to you when y'all was in Buffalo, you wasn't having it either. You had a problem with it.
Yes.
You had a problem with it.
Okay.
Like Cam's
You did, Cam.
You did, Cam. I even seen it, Cam.
Hey Eagles fans, welcome back to Eagles Nest News, your go-to channel for all things Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I know the past week has been a bit turbulent for our beloved birds, and there's a lot to unpack. We've seen rumors and speculation swirl about potential locker room issues between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts after A.J.'s comments about the passing game following a narrow win over the Panthers. Throw in some comments from Brandon Graham, and suddenly, everyone's questioning the chemistry in Philly. But before we get caught up in the noise, let's break it down and try to see the full picture. Is there a real issue? Or is this just the media making a mountain out of a molehill? In today's video, we'll dive into what's really going on with A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, and the Eagles' offense. Are the Eagles in trouble? Or is this just a temporary bump in the road? Stick around till the end, where I'll give you my take, and of course, I want to hear your thoughts. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Let's get into it. Let's start with what's been happening this week. After the Eagles' close win against the Panthers, A.J. Brown made some comments that sparked a lot of speculation. He criticized the passing game, particularly how he wasn't being involved in key moments. This comment was seen by some as a dig at Jalen Hurts, and immediately, rumors started flying about potential tension in the locker room. Then, Brandon Graham, who is a beloved figure in Philly, fueled the fire even further. He claimed that A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts weren't as close as they used to be. Of course, this sent shockwaves through the Eagles fan base. But let's take a step back and look at what both A.J. and Jalen had to say in response. When asked about it, A.J. Brown was quick to dismiss the rumors. He stated, "Me and Jalen are good. We're competitors and I respect him. I've got love for him just like I do for the rest of my teammates." Jalen Hurts echoed those sentiments, saying there was no issue between them and that they were focused on winning games. Both players made it clear that the comments made by Brandon Graham were just that, comments, and that the media was overblowing the situation. But while both Brown and Hurts have dismissed any locker room drama, you can't ignore the underlying tension when your star wide receiver is openly critical of the passing game. Now, let's look at what A.J. Brown actually said. It's important to recognize that Brown is a competitor through and through. He wants the ball, and he wants to make plays. When he's not getting the opportunities he thinks he deserves, he's going to speak up. And I think that's something we, as Eagles fans, should appreciate. Players like A.J. Brown are passionate about winning and contributing to the team's success. His frustrations are rooted in the desire to help the team and to make an impact, not in selfishness or drama. Now, this brings us to Jalen Hurts. There has been a lot of talk about Hurts' performance this season, particularly in terms of his passing. Over the last few weeks, he's thrown for under 300 yards in several games, and his deep ball accuracy has been questioned. A.J. Brown, being the competitor that he is, isn't going to be silent when he feels he's open and ready to make a play, but isn't getting the ball. If we're being honest, Hurts hasn't been the same passer he was last season. His ability to connect on deep throws has dipped, and some of the passes that should have gone A.J. Brown's way simply haven't been delivered. But here's the thing, Jalen Hurts is still the guy we know and trust. While some people might argue there's been a slippage in his game, let's not forget that Hurts has been playing at an MVP caliber level for the past 2 seasons. And yes, he's facing some challenges, but it's important to remember that the Eagles' offense is still finding ways to win. They're 11-2, and despite the struggles in the passing game, they're still a top team in the NFL. Additionally, we have to consider the running game. With a back like Saquon Barkley now in the mix, the Eagles' offense has shifted slightly to focus more on the ground attack, which has affected the number of passing opportunities. This, in turn, leads to fewer chances for A.J. Brown to make his mark. So it's not just about Jalen Hurts. It's also about the game plan and the fact that the Eagles are leaning more on their running back to control the tempo and win games. But let's get back to the heart of the matter. Is A.J. Brown right to speak up? The short answer is yes. Wide receivers, especially ones of A.J. Brown's caliber, aren't just going to sit quietly when they feel they have a favorable matchup and aren't being targeted. He's a top-tier receiver, and when he's winning one-on-one battles, he expects the ball to come his way. In fact, former NFL player and analyst RC mentioned in a segment this week that there were 5 specific instances in the last few games where A.J. Brown was in one-on-one situations and Jalen Hurts missed him. Those are the moments that frustrate wide receivers, when they know they've won their matchup and the ball doesn't come their way. But the big question is, how does the team handle it moving forward? If you're Nick Sirianni, you've got to step in. This is where leadership matters. Sirianni needs to sit down with both AJ and Jalen and remind them of the bigger picture. This isn't about individual stats, it's about winning games. If AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts can get on the same page, the Eagles' offense could be even more explosive. But that's where the responsibility falls on Sirianni and the coaching staff to ensure they're on the same wavelength. In fact, RC suggested that Sirianni should sit down with both players and show them the plays where Jalen missed AJ. At the same time, he should remind AJ Brown that he's not the only playmaker on the team. There's also Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and the running game. But ultimately, AJ needs to understand that the team's success comes first. And that's where the true test of leadership will come. So what's the final verdict? Are there issues within the Eagles' locker room? It's clear that there have been some tense moments, and A.J. Brown's frustrations are understandable. As a competitor, he wants to make an impact, and when the ball doesn't come his way, it's only natural to speak up. But let's not forget that the Eagles are still a winning team. Jalen Hurts is still the quarterback who led them to the Super Bowl, and this offense, despite its recent struggles, has the potential to get back on track. As fans, we need to trust in the leadership of Nick Sirianni and the maturity of both A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts to work through these growing pains. After all, the season is far from over, and the Eagles are still in a prime position to make a deep playoff run. This isn't the time to panic. It's the time to stay patient and support our team. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think there's real tension between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, or is the media just blowing things out of proportion? How do you feel about the Eagles' passing game and Jalen's performance this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update from Eagles Nest News. Fly, Eagles, fly!